Welcome into NFL Daily. I am Tom Downey. We're back live on Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble today. Myself, producer Patrick, behind the scenes as well. A loaded version of today's show, going a little bit longer than normal because it's been a while since we've been here, and we thought it'd be a fun idea to go a little bit longer on today's show. One of the things we'll talk about is the head coaching hot seat. What jobs could come up next? There are 3 jobs currently open. I'm not counting interims as having filled them, although interim coach might get a job or 2 this year. Of the 3 jobs that are open, which is the best head coaching gig out there? P for the Panthers, C for the Colts, or B for the Denver Broncos? Now, if you asked me this, after the Russell Wilson trade initially, I would have said Denver, no-brainer. And now Russ looks terrible, and I don't know if it is Denver or if that might be like the least appealing job. The Panthers have made a nice little push down the stretch here. Credit to Steve Wilkes, who might end up getting that full-time job. I think he's done a very impressive performance so far. It helped unlock the ground game. He's doing better the job than Matt Rule. Indy, I'd be honest, I'm a little worried about working for Jim Irsay. I don't fully trust him at this point. It's the pin poll on YouTube and on the Facebook side of things, and it is almost an even split. I thought this was going to be a good poll question. 32% Panthers, 33% Colts, 35% Denver. Get those votes in. If you believe that you can fix Russell Wilson, it's the Denver job. If you just want the highest draft pick possible, it's the Indy job. And I suppose if you want the best team, right, and isn't that Carolina, since they're still in the mix for the NFC South, they beat the Bucs, they might make the playoffs this year after all, which would be a real shocker to me if they do from where we began this year. So get those votes in. Panthers is P, C for the Colts, or B for the Denver Broncos. We will also spend some time today, rumors-wise, on Sean Payton, of course, and where he could coach. Latest rumor from Mike Florio, so again, it's Florio, but it's some good stuff in there, grain of salt, I guess, in the end, is that Sean Payton might just decide, Carolina job, Denver job, Colts job, I don't want those, maybe I don't want Arizona, Cowboys, Chargers jobs might not come open. In that case, I'm going to go back to New Orleans, and I'm going to bring Tom Brady along with me. Now, that would be pretty intriguing. Will that happen? We'll go more in depth on it, but you get your predictions in. Y for yes, N for no. I'm going to go with no. It would make things interesting from the Saints' perspective, and you lose Sean Payton for a year, you kind of be doing Denny Allen a little bit dirty, but it hasn't been the greatest job so far. Get those votes in. Y for yes, N for no. Will Sean Payton and Tom Brady join forces somewhere this upcoming offseason? Now, today's NFL Daily is brought to you by Fetch. Fetch is super easy to use and a free app that lets you earn rewards on literally anything that you buy. Scan any physical receipt or e-receipt, and you will earn points for your purchases. The process only takes seconds to know about where the receipt is from or what's on it. Let me show you how simple it is, as you can see right here with this little handy-dandy video. All you do is open the Fetch app, press the orange camera button, snap a photo of your receipt, hit submit, and you'll see that confetti pop showing that you've earned more reward points. It's a simple process. You can also click the e-receipt function to get rewarded for your Amazon purchases or other online shopping by syncing your email account. You can then redeem those points for gift cards at Amazon, Starbucks, or any of the hundreds of available retailers and or restaurants. Fetch is available on iPhone and on Android. Use our link, chatsports.com/fetch. Enter promo code CHAT, C-H-A-T, at sign up. When you scan your first receipt, you get 5,000 bonus points. That's the equivalent of a free $5 gift card. It's only available, though, for a limited time, so make sure you go do it right now. The app is free forever, but the bonus points is only available for a limited time. Chatsports.com/fetch, promo code CHAT. That's C-H-A-T. We will spend a lot of time, I'm sure, today, both on our normal show, and I bet the mailbag will have lots of questions on it, too. Where will Derek Carr play in 2023? I do not believe it will be the Raiders. I think a trade or release is coming for Derek Carr. He has been benched by Las Vegas, not because they actually think Jarrett Stidham is better. He's not. But Derek Carr's contract this upcoming season, 2023, is not fully guaranteed right now. Does not guarantee until after the Super Bowl. It is injury guaranteed, however. So he's healthy now. You sit him down. You bench him. to keep that potential trade value high, or at minimum, allowing yourselves to get out of the contract if you need to via a release. So where will Derek Carr play? Let me know. I see Patriots, Washington, Giants, Jags. I don't think it's the Jags. Trevor Lawrence is looking like the guy he should be. Bucks, Jags, Jets. I think Jets, Texans, and Colts. 3 very good teams to keep an eye out for. I wouldn't hate Tampa, especially if Tom Brady ends up losing. I think I actually left that team out of my options there. The Lions, I think I just roll back with Goff, though. I think they're close enough that maybe just wait. Maybe draft a QB even. I'm not sure. XFL, no, he'll still be a starter next year. He will be. New Orleans, the Falcons. I don't hate that one. That is a dark horse fit, but I don't mind that one at all. The Denver Broncos, no. Jets are retire. He'll be a starter somewhere. He's not going to retire. I'm sure he's feeling down about himself right now. Tennessee, Washington, Chulor, Brokov, 2 good ones right there. Oakland Raiders, they don't exist anymore. It's funny. If you mean Vegas, I'm not so sure. Let me know where you think Derek Carr will play in 2023. Now I want you guys to predict this year's Super Bowl matchup. We've got only a handful of available playoff spots left. We'll break down my predictions to make the playoffs later on in today's show. Predict this year's matchup. Who you got? I got Eagles-Chiefs off the front from NFL Kid. I think that makes sense. Niners-Bills, that'd be an awesome game. Cowboys-Chiefs, Niners-Bengals. I thought we were going to get that last year for a little bit. That'd be a nice throwback game. Chiefs-Eagles, Chiefs-Niners rematch. Chiefs-Eagles, Cowboys-Chiefs, Chiefs-Eagles again. Lots of Eagles, lots of Chiefs, lots of Bills. That certainly makes sense. Niners also in there. And I think from an odds perspective, those are really your top couple contenders there. Evan Henry says Vikings versus Bills. Bills versus Bucks. Got a Bengals versus Packers in there too. Green Bay has not even locked up the playoff spot yet. I know producer Patrick, who's our Vikings fan, is scared. The Vikings are going to get the 2 seed. The Packers are going to get the 7 seed. And Aaron Rodgers is going to do Aaron Rodgers things to Minnesota, and it'll upset them. You're scared of it, aren't you? You're scared of it.
Tom, I'm terrified, and I'm blaming you for speaking this into existence.
I'm not speaking into this. I'm not saying I want it. I'm just acknowledging the possibility. I'm scared of Tampa Bay and Tom Brady taking down the Cowboys in the opening round, like they always do.
Could you imagine a Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers NFC Championship game
after both teams were like not good this year? Yeah, wouldn't that just be somehow so on brand for the NFL? Get those predictions in for me, and if you haven't already, like today's video. If you like our NFL coverage, the news, the rumors, playoff predictions, and mock drafts, and everything we do here, show us you do. Like that video for me right now. You got about 100 people watching, yet only 18 likes. Very disappointing numbers. Let's get that changed. Hit the like button right now. We have a loaded show for you guys today. 5 segments, not the normal 4 that we do. NFL news and rumors, Derek Carr leading the way in a moment here. NFL head coaching hot seats, we'll break that down. NFL mailbag, as always, 2 ways to get on the show. Either use hashtag NFL or Super Chat to skip the line. You become the MVPs, those of you who Super Chat. NFL mock draft and NFL playoff predictions. Not necessarily in that order. So make sure you tune in for the entirety of today's NFL Daily Live. Getting going right now. You're watching NFL Daily. I am Tom Downey. A sampling of what's coming up on today's show. Is Derek Carr now done as a member of the Raiders? Could Terrell Owens return? Yeah, we'll break that down. Some Sean Payton and Tom Brady rumors to the Saints, and a lot of quarterback news, injury, trade rumor stuff. But we begin with the number 1 story of the day. The Raiders have benched Derek Carr. He will not be active, barring, I guess, injury, for the final 2 games of the season. Jarrett Stidham is going to sub in for Derek Carr under center. And the move is not because the Raiders, who are still technically alive in the playoff race, think that Jarrett Stidham actually gives them a better chance of winning football games. This move keeps Derek Carr healthy so he can be cut or traded this offseason, which we will get to that more in depth here in a little bit. But unfortunately, there's been some regression in the play of Derek Carr, particularly this season. Look, I think he gets a lot of credit, rightfully so, for guiding the Raiders through what was a hellish season to make the postseason last year. They bring back Derek Carr. They give him a unique contract. More on that in a little bit. And I think there's plenty of blame for Josh McDaniels, don't get me wrong. But the Raiders have an out in Carr's contract after the season. Carr bet on himself, and looks like that bet was lost as the Raiders appear primed now to move on from Carr after this season ends. Details not in a moment. In the meantime, who remembers the Jarrett Stidham hype? I do. I remember people have going, he could be the Patriots quarterback of the future, which, of course, he is not. And Stidham is a guy that knows the offense from his time in New England alongside Josh McDaniels, their head coach. Stidham was traded for a late draft pick. He has barely played in his time in the NFL. We're talking career stats, 32 of 61 for 342 yards, 2 scores, 4 INTs. He was better this year in the preseason, but I don't think even the most diehard Stidham truthers genuinely think he's going to be the franchise guy for the Raiders. This is just, we're kind of not worried about this official season at this point. Now, what is worth keeping an eye out for is where Derek Carr could go next. Someone in our live chat mentioned the Bucs if they lose Tom Brady. It's a great potential fit as well that I should have included on this list, so I'll mention it now. Other teams, Jets are probably going to move on from Zach Wilson. The Commanders are snip-snapping Carson Wentz as their starter. The Colts have played that game forever. Carolina might not be in quarterback range, and do you really believe in Sam Darnold compared to Derek Carr? The Saints and Texans and Giants and Tennessee and all these teams have quarterbacks they could move on from and or guys that I don't think are better than Derek Carr. Like, if you're the Giants, wouldn't you just bring in Derek Carr for 2 years and move on from Daniel Jones? Probably would cost not that dissimilar of an amount if it's a cut. Now, you could also see Derek Carr get traded, maybe for something similar to the Carson Wentz package originally when he went to the Colts. Derek Carr's cap hit this upcoming season is $34.88 million. The Raiders saved $29.25 of that if they cut or trade him before February 15th. On February 15th, his base salary, just under $33 million, becomes fully guaranteed. It's currently guaranteed for injury, hence the benching. The new team would owe Derek Carr if they trade for him $33 million. It's the base salary plus a workout bonus of $100,000 and $7.5 million guaranteed in 2024. Not that bad if you believe in Derek Carr as a top 15-ish quarterback as your starter next year. You know, for a team like the Jets or Commanders, that might be worth it for them, given what they've had at quarterback in recent months or years even. So where will Derek Carr play in 2023? It's the pinned comment on today's video. If the ad break comes on YouTube, take advantage of it and make those predictions for me right now. Here's a story for you. Terrell Owens, as he's done every single year, wants to play. T.O. will make this claim at least once a year. It's actually not the first time this year he's made it. He also said that he talked to the Niners about playing and their ownership, and that didn't go anywhere from a national attention standpoint. So now his agent's like, we've been talking to the Dallas Cowboys, and the Cowboys took the call, but were like, yeah, dude, you're 49. You haven't played football in 10 years. Sorry, it's just not going to work out. Look, T.O.'s in ungodly shape for a 49-year-old, but 49-year-olds don't play football, especially when they haven't played real football. I'm sorry, fan-controlled football does not count in over a decade. That just isn't how it works. So he wants to play. You know, I would like a wide variety of things as well, like $1 million guaranteed, but that's just not going to happen. Now, what is going to happen is, at least for you, if you choose to accept it, is free 5,000 bonus points on the Fetch Rewards app. Today's NFL Daily is brought to you by Fetch. It's super easy to use and a free app. Lets you earn rewards on literally anything you buy. Any physical receipt, e-receipt, like when it gets into your email, will earn you points for your purchases. And the process takes mere seconds. You don't have to worry about where the receipt is from or what's on it. In fact, I'll show you how easy it is right here. Wherever you buy stuff from, scan the receipt. Fetch Rewards app is going to give you points. All you do is open the Fetch app, press the orange camera button, and snap a photo of your receipt. Then hit submit. You'll see the confetti start popping, showing that you've earned reward points for your Amazon purchases or other online shopping if you use the e-receipt function. Whatever it is, It's very simple to do. You can then redeem those points or gift cards at Amazon, Starbucks, or any of the hundreds, I should say, retailers and restaurants that are available. Fetches on iPhone and Android. Use our link, chatsports.com/fetch. Enter promo code CHAT, CHAT, get 5,000 bonus points when you scan your first receipt. That's chatsports.com/fetch. Hey! He did it. He did it again.
Sorry, it's too hard. All right, hold on a second. I didn't actually get that on screen.
You didn't get on screen. Okay, hold on. We'll do it right.
I was filming too
We're
much.
mid-fetch read, by the way.
All right, hold on a second. Tom, you have been slapped.
Okay. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to cut that out of the cut, and we'll just take one of the other fetch reads from later and put it in there. Very strange, but I told James if he got a certain amount of super chats on our Michigan live show, he could come in and slap me. So, Teo D and Mitch Kappas, I see you guys in there. All right, back to the show, as that's going to confuse everybody watching. Sean Payton is suddenly drawing interest from everybody, but the new buzz from Mike Florio is that the Saints could bring back Sean Payton as head coach and bring Tom Brady with him. The theory is that everyone wants Sean Payton. The jobs open are not very good. Sean Payton wants to get back in coaching ASAP. He wants to return. If the jobs aren't great, why not go back to New Orleans and bring in Tom Brady? The jobs open right now, I really don't think are that appealing to Sean Payton. Carolina, I don't know if the Saints would ever trade him to a division rival. That'd be a lot to ask for, and they do own his contract still. But they're not in great shape long term, as impressive as Steve Wilks has done so far. Indianapolis is kind of not in a great spot either. Denver looked like they were, but Russell Wilson looks broken. Do you want to go try to salvage Russell Wilson? I certainly don't think so. The other three jobs that I think could make sense for Sean Payton. Arizona, I would not be surprised if they fired or agreed to move on or whatever from Cliff Kingsbury. But is Kyler Murray's health a concern long term after the ACL? Probably at least for this upcoming year. Is that a great job, honestly? They got some bad contracts. The Chargers would be a great fit for Sean Payton, but they're a playoff team. Is that job going to be open? Dallas might be if McCarthy goes one and done in the postseason again this year, but there's no guarantee of that either. They could easily beat the Bucs and Brady, who is a free agent this offseason. And make no mistake for Brady, he will want to go somewhere where he can win. And remember, back when Brady first became a free agent, Brady and Payton reportedly had interest the last time Brady was available, and Drew Brees ended up coming back, so he said, okay, we'll ride with Brees. Sorry, it's not going to work. Brady goes to Tampa, and bada bing, bada boom, good things happen. But there is this point, too. This isn't the normal Brady we've seen. This looks a little bit more like 2019 Brady, who wasn't as good. He's still a top whatever number you want to assign him quarterback, and it's still Brady, and you still figure there's a very real chance he makes a nice playoff push this year, but he hasn't been the same. O-line's not been great. The issues up front have been a real problem. Maybe those get fixed in New Orleans. Maybe not. So will Sean Payton and Tom Brady join forces next year, be it in New Orleans or potentially somebody else? Y for yes, N for no. Get those predictions in for me in the comments section. Let's hit a wide array of even more quarterback news here. Return of Wentz. Yeah, the Commanders making the move. Carson Wentz is back as the starting quarterback for the Commanders. They are benching Taylor Heineke. Here are their numbers this year. They're not very different. Now, the last couple weeks have been a little rough for Taylor Heineke. The Commanders are fighting for their playoff lives. I think they're trying to find another spot in terms of or spark, I should say. I don't think Wentz is much of an upgrade. I don't know if he's much of a downgrade either. You're trying to mix something up. In the end, I don't think either of these guys, and this has been my mindset for a long time, I know many of you agree, neither of these guys are the answer at quarterback for Washington. But with 2 games left, and with the Commanders fighting for their playoff lives, who should they start? TH for Taylor Heineke, CW for Carson Wentz. Let me know in the comment section. Now, we have plenty of NFL news and rumors for you guys here. Can we get 25 new subs today alone. I think we can. Bosses aren't so sure. Let's prove them wrong. Hit that sub button for free NFL videos every single day, especially with the offseason just around the corner. Let's move to Zach Wilson. Speaking of troubled quarterbacks, Wilson is back on the bench. Mike White is healthy. The Jets are going to start White, and I think there's a very, very real chance Zach Wilson, the former number 2 overall pick, is already done in New York. And lack of confidence, I think, from Wilson internally and the Jets' entire organization in Wilson is a real problem. Now, they could trade him. They lose about $2 million in cap space if they trade him on top of their already cap charge, but that's not that bad to just move on from a guy who's a sunk cost if that's the route you feel. They could save $4 million if it's after June 1st, but no one's going to do that. New team would owe him under $4 million this upcoming year, 5.5 the year after that. And it is the former number 2 overall pick, and we know this, whether they are deserving of it or not. Early round picks, early draft picks, get more chances than non-early round picks because of the perceived talent. And I use the word perceived because we've seen early round picks just not pan out, but they keep getting chances because of the preconceived notions, the biases of, quote, he was a top 5 pick for a reason, right? Like that type of argument is why those quarterbacks or players in general get chance after chance after chance. I do think a team would be willing to trade for Zach Wilson. I don't think for that much, however. Not with what we've seen where he's still a project for you. And that's scary to trade for a project quarterback. It'd have to be the right destination. So let me know. What draft pick do you think Zach Wilson is worth? Time now for some Tua conversation. Unfortunately for the Dolphins franchise QB, he is once again in the concussion protocol. It's the second time he's been in the protocol. The second confirmed concussion, but I think we can call it 3 concussions because, we all saw him get up and get all woozy and then have a really bad one after that. That's concerning for Tua long term. Short term, it's, okay, Dolphins fighting for your playoff lives. How can you win with likely Teddy Bridgewater against the Patriots and Jets to wrap the season? Now, maybe Tua comes back after that. It's unfortunate for Tua, who's had by far his best season as a member of the Miami Dolphins. He and Mike McDaniel have maximized things a little bit better than Tua and the Brian Flores-led regimes ever did. Tua has talent, but the health, both concussion, the hip was an issue for a while, that's got to be cleared out. So I hope Tua's okay from a pure just physical health standpoint. I'm not going to be calling for retirement. Like, that's a decision for Tua and his doctors to make, not for us media talking heads. But a potential third concussion in like 3 or 4 months, oof, that's concerning as far as I'm concerned. All right, question for you guys now, and this with New Year's around the corner. Do you stay up for New Year's still? I am old now. I might stay up this year because I'll be out of town, but normally I don't. Patrick, do you still stay up for New Year's, producer Patrick?
I do stay up for New Year's, but with us working the next day, I think I might just be hit midnight, go to bed.
See, I don't do it anymore. I'm old.
Yeah.
There's nothing for me to do anymore. I'm not out drinking like I used to be.
New Year's is an extremely overrated holiday.
There's nothing to it.
Like, as of like a drinking holiday, I would take St. Patrick's Day any day of the week over New Year's. Yeah. That's just me.
Because you drink green beer. Tony says yes. Christian says depends. This year it's a tricky timing. It's what? It's on Saturday this year? Saturday? Yeah, Saturday. Which, like, we all got football to go Sunday. So at this point, it's kind of like I'll watch all the bowl games and then I'll just go to bed.
Yeah, probably similar here.
If I lived on the East Coast, it'd be easier because the bowl games would kind of wrap up closer. But now I got like that weird time, so I just don't do it anymore.
Too.
But I'm old. I'm old at this point. We have a $5 super chat from Gwendolyn D. Hill. Math is official. Carr is 10-15 after the 2021 trade deadline in those regular seasons. He's what, 6-9, 6-8 this year? That's kind of your big, yes, 6-9 this year. So, whatever, 4-2 6 last year then. They just didn't quite close the way things needed to be closed out, especially this year. Like, again, they've blown a lot of leads. Their defense gave them 3 takeaways against Steelers, and you miss Hunter Renfrow deep downfield. I get why they're looking to move on. Now, it's funny. If Carr's contract was, like, not fully guaranteed, he'd probably still be playing. If he wasn't set to make that much money, I think he'd still be playing. Instead, Raiders going to make a change, which I'm sure we'll get to more in depth on the mailbag. But before we get there, it's time for some NFL playoff predictions. You guys are watching NFL Daily. I am Tom Downey. We haven't done it yet. It's overdue. There's a lot of college football stuff to hit instead. We're doing NFL playoff predictions today, and we'll look at the overall playoff picture. Then I'll make my guesses, and that's what they are, guesses, as to who will make the playoffs this year. First up, the AFC. 2 spots are open. The number 4 seed, which will go to the AFC South winner, and the final wild card spot. But we're also looking at where teams will end up being seeded. So that's where things currently stand. My projection, number 1 seed in the AFC, give me the Buffalo Bills. A little bit more of an aggressive projection here because I think they will beat the Bengals in what is going to be an awesome football game. Monday Night Football, must-watch game. Bills, Bengals, Patriots. The Bills win out. They win the number 1 seed. They've already clinched the division. They're fighting for the number 1 seed alongside the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, the Chiefs have a much easier schedule. That's why it's a bit more of an aggressive projection to have the Bills get that number 1 seed. Since Denver and the Raiders are bad, the Chiefs will win those games. I'll be pretty shocked if they don't win them both. So Bills, Chiefs, very much still fighting. The Bengals, by the way, are also still fighting for the number 1 seed and the NFC North title. They have not locked up anything beyond just a playoff spot at this point, although they are on the verge of doing so. I've got them going 12-5, beating the Bills, losing to the Bills, but beating the Ravens in NFL Week 18, which chance that Bengals-Ravens game gets flexed. I think there are some other ones, though, to keep an eye out for more here in a little bit. But first in the AFC, when it's all said and done, probably 2 weeks from now, who gets, or 2 games, I should say, it's not really 2 weeks, who gets the number 1 seed? Is it the Bills, the Bengals, or the Chiefs? Type in BUF for the Buffalo Bills, CIN for the Bengals, or KC for the Chiefs. This is going to be today's pinned comments on the video, so if an ad break just so happens to come here on YouTube, take advantage of it, head down there, and predict who you think gets the number 1 seed. We'll do it again next week, and if the Bengals beat the Bills, there will be some changes. But in the meantime, get those predictions in. Let's go to the number 4 seed. I've got the Jacksonville Jags completing an unbelievable comeback. We've been doing the playoff picture for weeks now, and I was like, we're like 3 weeks removed or a month removed from me saying on air, and it's a great freezing cold take, Tennessee will cruise to the AFC South again. They are not. They can still win it, but they have not cruised to it. The Titans have collapsed. Injury is a part of it. The Jags have gotten hot. Week 17 does not matter for either of these teams now, and it all comes down to Week 18. Jags, Titans. Winner clinches the AFC South, and I would bet that game ends up getting flexed to the Sunday Night Football matchup. Now, you could also see maybe a Packers-Lions game, but division championship, guaranteed playoff spot, that's an easy one to put on in the primetime slot because it will matter the most no matter what. But AFC South, let me know in the comment section who you think wins it. JC for the Jags, TEN for the Titans. Let's go to the Baltimore Ravens here, as I think I've actually got a mistake on my part. Yeah, I've got these 2 teams flipped. That's my bad. It's okay. I've got the Ravens as the 6th seed. We'll just edit this after, Patrick. Ravens is the 6th seed. That's my bad. 11-6. They've clinched a playoff spot. I've got them losing against the Bengals in Week 18 to keep them out of the playoff division race and having to go on the road. They need to get Lamar Jackson back, though, because if Lamar can't get healthy, things are going to get very, very dicey. Today's show is made possible by our sportsbook partner, BetUS. Head over to chatsports.com/bet and use promo code NFL Daily. 125% deposit bonus when you put down at least $100 at chatsports.com/bet. Lots of things you can bet on, including the Super Bowl, and these just feel about right. Your heavy favorites, right? The Bills, the Chiefs, the Eagles. The Niners are still very much in the mix here as well. The Bengals at plus 50, and then the Cowboys somehow, some way down there, plus 1,000. I would be a little bit surprised if Dallas made it, but being sixth behind your heavier favorites, I do think makes quite a bit of sense. You can also bet on the AFC South. Jags are your betting favorite. They're minus 250. The Titans at plus 195 as well. Very curious how that all ends up playing out. I'm on board with the Jags. Go bet on any NFL game you want. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code NFL Daily. The Chargers next up here. I'll give them the number 5 seed. They've got Week 17 against the Rams and Broncos. They took care of business by taking down the Colts to clinch a wild card spot. They will not win the division. I think they're going to win those last 2 games and just sneak in as the 5 seed. But the Chargers could be a force to be reckoned with as they get healthier on defense. So that leaves open, for now at least, one final spot. And I'll look at these 4 teams as the teams fighting at this point for that last spot. The Dolphins, Steelers, Jets, and Patriots. Who do you think ends up getting the final wild card spot? MIA for the Miami Dolphins, NYJ for the Jets, PIT for the Steelers, yes, they're still alive, or NE for the New England Patriots. Vote in the comments right now. I'm going to go with the Miami Dolphins, and I'll be honest, I don't feel confident in this one either. I think they will lose this week against the Patriots. The Bills will then beat New England in Week 18. The Dolphins will beat a Jets team, also having their own quarterback issues. And Miami, who for a while looked like they were going to be fighting for the number 1 seed in the division crown, will just sneak in to the playoff race. But this is open. I've got 3 teams in at 8 and 9, a game behind the Dolphins, the Patriots, Jets, and Steelers. Tennessee completes a historic collapse and drops all the way down to 7 and 10, and they just miss out in the AFC South. That's my AFC projections. It's time now for the NFC. Before we get there, I want you guys to predict this year's Super Bowl matchup. Head down to the comments section and get those predictions in for me right now. Who do you think represents the NFC and the AFC in the Super Bowl? This is the NFC current playoff picture. The Eagles have clinched a playoff spot. They have not yet locked up the number 1 seed. Minnesota, San Francisco, Dallas all still fighting. 3 open spots, although one of them is going to be filled, but 2 of them could be filled after this week with the NFC South and Giants. We'll get to them, but first, predictions. I think that the Eagles will secure that number 1 seed. I've got them beating the Saints in Week 17 and sitting the starters and getting healthy in Week 18, knocking out New Orleans and locking up that number 1 playoff spot in the process. So Philly, I got them going 14-3 and getting that number 1 seed. Some changes to seeding, though, at least compared to things currently stand, coming in a moment. But we will break down the playoff picture every single week for you guys. We'll break down NFC individually, AFC individually, where it makes sense to do so. So make sure you guys are subscribed. Free videos every single day right here on Chat Sports and tons of NFL playoff picture coverage. I'm going to go with the Niners securing that number 2 seed. I've got them beating the Raiders and the Cardinals, games they should both win. It's the Brock Purdy show, but to be honest, I think Shanahan, the defense, that running game, everything about it makes life much easier on their QB. Niners get the 2 seed. Minnesota then falls to the 3 seed. I've got them, I'm sorry, producer Patrick, losing to the Packers, taking on the Bears in Week 18, which we'll show what the matchup would be against the Giants, by the way. So no potential 7 seed of who that could be. I'll see in a little bit, folks. Vikings, the 3 seed. And I've got the Bucs clinching the 4 seed and rallying to close out the year strong. 2 straight wins. If they beat Carolina this Sunday, They will clinch the NFC South. I think they will do that and then potentially kind of get a breather-ish in Week 18, but the Falcons are bad, so I think they win anyway. I've got the Cowboys as the number 5 seed here. Titans, Commanders. I think they will beat the Titans in what is basically a preseason game on Thursday Night Football. Tennessee's sitting everybody. The Commanders, Week 18, I'll have them lose. Commanders will be kind of still fighting for a playoff spot, I think, as low as those odds are. Dallas will kind of play their own preseason rest game. Dallas will, by that point, have already been locked into the 5 seed anyway because I got the Eagles beating the Saints. The Giants then get the number 6 seed. No surprise here. I think they'll beat the Colts and the Eagles, in large part because I think the Eagles are going to sit everybody, and I'm not sure the Giants will. I could see them trying to fighting a little bit harder than the Eagles will in a game that truly might not matter for either team when it's all said and done. But hey, they get to 10 wins in the end. That leaves one final wild card spot. Who will get the final spot? Lions, Seahawks, Packers, or Commanders? Remember, I've got Green Bay winning Week 17. I've got Washington winning Week 18, which would put those two teams in a good position. I will spoil this here a little bit. I don't have the Seahawks winning Week 17, which would basically knock them out. With that in mind, number 7 projection seed, the Packers. I've got them winning out. Because, of course, Aaron Rodgers does this, right? I had written them off. I had left them for dead. I thought there's no chance the Commanders are going to find a way to rally and make the playoff. I'm not thinking no way they're going to do that. Well, here the Packers are on the verge of making that happen. I've got them in 9-8, taking down the Lions in a winner secures a wild card berth game. I've got Seattle going 8-9. They get just left out. The Lions going 8-9 as they lose in Week 18. The Commanders lose Week 17 to the Browns. They go 8-1. Carolina goes 7-10 and just misses out on the playoff race, coming up short against Tampa. That is how I've got things going and being broken down in the NFC. It's going to get wild. We'll do it again next week, and good chance I got to make some more changes too. All right, predict this year's Super Bowl matchup for me. What do you have? I asked this earlier. I'm going to ask it again. I see Bills-Niners already in there. Someone said my heart said something. Oh, Eagles-Chiefs is what he thinks, the NFL kid. He wants Panthers-Bengals in all cat Super Bowl. That'd be fun. Predict the matchup, Super Bowl. I see a KC in there. Just the matchup overall. Who you got? Let me sip some water here. I don't feel confident this year. My heart says like something like Eagles-Chiefs, but like I just don't know.
I've been leaning towards Bills coming out of the AFC for a while now.
I don't mind that one.
NFC, Tom, I have no idea. I have absolutely no clue. We
make a big deal correctly about Dak's interceptions. Josh Allen been just as bad lately.
That's true.
He's got to get those figured out too. But it's Allen, so like he's gonna make plays. It's fine. Bills, Niners, Vikings, Chiefs, Bengals, Eagles as well. Get those votes in and get your questions in. Mailbag time. Getting started here momentarily. 2 ways to get on the show. Hashtag NFL or Super Chat. Now, if you Super Chat, you are guaranteed to get your question answered. Otherwise, you're at the mercy of producer Patrick picking your question or bringing it up on screen. So get him in. Evan Hinders, by the way, says, imagine Jags versus Giants. Call it the Tom Coughlin Bowl. Get him in. Hashtag NFL for any and all NFL questions or Super Chat if you want to skip the line altogether. It's mailbag time here on Chat Sports, and if you want NFL news, rumors, mock drafts, playoff picture, playoff predictions, you name it, we have you guys covered. Hit that subscribe button right now. It's free. You hit the red button or the black and white button here on YouTube. Every single day, we've got you covered on all the things going on around the NFL. I'm Tom Downey for Chat Sports, and you guessed it, right? It's mailbag time. All your questions coming in live on our Wednesday NFL Daily Live show. Your questions answered as they come in, which means I'm off the cuff and sometimes having to ramble just a little bit in terms of what the topics would be. Our first question, though, from Xinco XD Whack. So X-Whack is what I'll call him. Is Dak a top 5 QB? The advanced numbers this year have said he has played like one. He is behind the likes of a Hurts, a Mahomes, an Allen, a Burrow. He's kind of in that grouping. Are there 5 QBs I'd take over him? Yes. Yes, there are. I don't think he's a top 5 quarterback. And for the way that big media talks about, you got to win something, even though it's not held the same standard for everybody else, I think he's top 10. I don't really think top 5. But he's also averaging 36 points since he came back, which sounds wrong but is actually accurate. I'd be pretty happy if my quarterback and my offense, with my quarterback healthy, were putting up 36 points per game. That makes me think that it's probably not the quarterback's issue. True Lore, what will Brock Purdy's stats be this Sunday afternoon? I've been pretty impressed by Purdy. He's been a very reliable, steady player. Probably somewhere like 67, 68% completion percentage. 2 touchdowns, probably no interceptions, and throws for like 240 yards. Like just really, really steady, easygoing, reliable types of stuff. Not like throwing for 350 and 4 scores or whatever. There will be some moments where he just gets a little bit too reckless, but I think Shanahan can make me and you look like I don't know, Zach Wilson-esque quarterbacks in the NFL as he catches strays for no reason today. Like, he does a great job. So I think Purdy can definitely kind of Jimmy Garoppolo, Nate Sudfeld his way around out there for San Francisco. And I think he's done a really good job so far. Tony Revolori, will the Broncos just cut Russell Wilson? I know there's been some buzz of like, well, if the Falcons could do it for Matt Ryan, why not have them do it? I would be pretty surprised if Denver took that route. And here's why. Russell Wilson signed a 5-year, $245 million contract, $49 million on average. There's $165 million guaranteed. Now, some of that guarantees have already been paid out. But to put this in perspective, if you were to post June 1st cut Russell Wilson, which means you spread the dead money out over multiple years, he has a $22 million cap hit in 2023. You would be charged $39 million. So you are eating $17 million for Russell Wilson to not play for you in 2023. And the problem really comes in 2024. You would have $68 million in dead cap that you could not get out of if you are Russell Wilson, or the Broncos and Russell Wilson. 35.4 is his cap hit in 2024. So you're losing $17 million in cap space this year and about $32.5 the year after that. Do you want to eat that level of money? And that's not just dead cap. That's just extra caps you're losing. You're looking at negative 60 plus like $60 million in savings, $80 million dead cap. Like you're saying we're not winning for 2 years. That's what you're saying. And I don't think Denver can try that. I think you're better off trying to fix Russ for a year or two. With that in mind, Russ might be cooked. And if you get roasted by Patrick Starr on the Nickelodeon broadcast, honestly, you should probably just retire. Like that is rock bottom of your career. Is he cooked? Y for yes, N for no. The NFL Kid, if the Panthers make the playoffs, is the Wilkes hire a lock? It has to be, right? Head coaching, unlike other spots or positions or whatever, that is really determined by wins or losses. Now, there are exceptions depending on injuries and stuff there, but like your only job as head coach is to get wins. Like that's where like the win stat actually makes sense. If they make the playoffs and rally in unreal fashion, yeah, I think Steve Wilkes should get that coaching job. Like that's just, he would have earned it at that point. Avengers, Minnesota needs to draft Jackson Smith and Jigba because Steele might be gone sooner than later. I don't mind that idea. Now, my issue is that you still want to utilize Jefferson some in the slot, and JSN has only really been a slot at Ohio State. Now, maybe thinking play on the outside. That's what happened to Justin Jefferson, so not different caliber of player, I would say pretty confidently. But yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. As a late round one pick, if he's there for Minnesota for JSN, I'd be on board there. Christopher C. Despite Pickett improving, what OC would be the best replacement for Matt Canada because he shouldn't have a job? Look, I don't know who you're going to be able to get in terms of like actual options. I'd be calling about Frank Reich ideally. Now, I could also see Frank Reich just being a head coach somewhere else and not having to worry about that. But I would strongly consider someone like a Frank Reich at that point. If other guys get fired, you could go that route there. Like maybe Nathaniel Hackett makes more sense as just an OC, but things are pretty bad in Denver. He might just go back to Green Bay. I think my first call would be to Frank Reich. If he says no, then I'm going to expand my watch list. Today's NFL Daily is brought to you by BetUS, our sportsbook partner. Get a 125% deposit bonus at chatsports.com/bet when you use promo code NFL Daily. That's chatsports.com/bet, promo code NFL Daily. You can bet on Coach of the Year. Quick aside, I think Nick Sirianni's done a great job in Philadelphia. This is not anti-Nick Sirianni type of comments here. But head coach of the year should not just go to most wins. And that's what we're doing with Nick Sirianni and Shanahan being up there. Honestly, shouldn't it be Brian Dable or Doug Peterson? Like those teams were bad last year. And they are on the verge of all making the playoffs. Like Brian Dable, I think, has maximized his roster better than any coach in the NFL. That Giants team is not that good. They keep finding ways to win football games. Like Dan Campbell makes more sense. So Sirianni's done a great job. He's a great coach for Philly. Don't get me wrong. But like, I think he's going to win. I don't think he should win, though. But you can go bet on Sirianni or against him. Chatsports.com/bet, promo code NFL Daily. Nick McClain, what is your honest opinion on how far the Cowboys go in the playoffs? I have been burned before by this team, so I have to see it to believe it. They should at minimum win one playoff game. If they don't, they should fire Mike McCarthy. And if they win one, maybe they'll get some confidence in themselves finally. But I think they win one and then lose the next one. That's my honest prediction. Big Phil, who are some first-round prospects that can be dropped in the rankings and become late-round steals? I mean, that doesn't happen very often. First-round guys who drop down there. It has to be because of like a medical issue. So maybe someone in that mold is like a Hendon Hooker who's got the torn ACL and is going to miss some time, I would say. Might have to redshirt for a year. Maybe someone in that mold, maybe, and it's not really a late-round pick, but maybe Nolan Smith slides some because of his own injury. I think that's kind of like first-round guys who drop. It's because of some unknown injury, not like first-round talents who just drop down for no reason. There's normally a reason behind it. So I'd say watch out for the injury guys there. Eli Banning, will the Falcons trade Kyle Pitts? I know some random account claimed that they were getting calls. I'm sure they are. No, they're not going to trade Kyle Pitts. That just doesn't make sense for Atlanta. Like, you drafted Kyle Pitts number 3 overall to help out whoever your eventual franchise QB is. Might not be Desmond Ridder. You don't trade away a 1,000-yard rookie tight end after 2 years unless you get, like, all the picks. Like, it's just not how they're going to operate. So, no, I don't think he's getting dealt. I bet there are a long list of teams that would love to get Kyle Pitts. And that's what the Falcons are. It's just like the whole Quentin Williams Jet stuff. Like, number 3 pick. Like, we would love to get him. They're bad. But teams don't trade those players unless they're actually bad. The good ones like Pitts and Quentin stick around and eventually become all pros. So name a player, a bit more realistic here, that you think ends up getting traded. Is it a Pitts? I don't think so. I think Derek Carr is one. Drop that player name for me in the comment section. Christian Navarro, I think Sean Payton will join Denver after Nathaniel Hackett was fired. I don't think Payton wants that job. Now, look, maybe open up the Walmart checkbook and throw $20 million a year, but I don't know why Payton would want that job. Now, maybe there's nothing else that comes open and he goes, okay, fine, I just went back really bad. I don't think Denver is an alluring job because of the chaos and uncertainty around Russell Wilson. Now, you still call and you make him tell you no, but I think you're going to have to look elsewhere if you're Denver. Junior Estrada, if Mac Jones doesn't play well, Patriots trade or cut him. They're not going to cut him. No chance. That just doesn't make sense. But I think they give him at least one more year. Now, after next year, maybe a different conversation, but he's a first-round pick. He's shown you some good things. It's not his fault as coordinator as Matt Patricia. Like, that's an organizational failure of Mac Jones. I'm not convinced on him, but you spend him as a first-round pick. You can't give up already in the same way the Jets can with Zach Wilson. From Drake, Derek Carr for a first-rounder, best team fit. I don't know if you get a first. I really don't. That's kind of what Carson Wentz went for, so I think it is feasible. Best fits, I think, now maybe Tampa makes sense if they lose Tom Brady, but you would have to make that decision before anything happens. It'd have to be like a Super Bowl-ish timeline for a trade, which has happened before, happened with Stafford. Jets make a lot of sense to me. The Commanders are in desperate need of a Kirk Cousins caliber quarterback. I think that's what Derek Carr can be. The Colts, maybe Carolina if they make the playoffs. Let's dump Darnold, go get Derek Carr. I don't hate that one, honestly. Saints, Houston, the Giants, Tennessee, they dump Ryan Tannehill. I'd say Jets and Commanders and Colts are the big three for me. But what do you guys think? Where will Derek Carr play in 2023? Get those predictions in for me right now in the comment section. I doubt it's the Raiders. I think he's done there. They're going to move on from him. What do you guys think? From Kyle Daughtery, how do you feel about Kenny Pickett? Is he the guy? I believe so when Canada's gone this offseason. I've seen some good things from Kenny Pickett. I've seen some not so great things either. I don't love Matt Canada as a play caller. That's not new. I do get worried about constantly shuffling offensive coordinators. Pick a guy, give him 2 years, see what happens with Kenny Pickett. I think he can be. I also think his ceiling is going to be more of like a Jared Goff guy, or maybe you get like a Carr or a Cousins like top 15 QB. I don't know if we're going to get a top 10 QB from Kenny Pickett, though, but you can have a lot of success with the top 15 QB. From Brokov, so the Jags after Josh Jacobs, and I was thinking the Super Bowl leap. I think they can make the leap. They need some better upgrades. Maybe Calvin Ridley helps things. You're going to have a top 10 QB in Trevor Lawrence. I think he's already kind of playing like one. He'll be that guy next year. Turns out Urban Meyer just sucked. Go figure. But no, they don't need Josh Jacobs. They have Travis Etienne. I wouldn't break the bank on another back. Christopher C. Najee Harris is the top 8 running back in the Lions system. Your thoughts? I could see it. The Lions' offensive line ground game is really good. Najee Harris, I think, has not played behind a great offensive line or scheme in Pittsburgh. I think that's also the point, though. It's why you don't draft running backs that early, because you swap them out, and you just go to a new team, you have a top 10 player. That doesn't happen at any other position. It's outside of maybe some O-line spots, like it's a big scheme difference. But for running back, that doesn't that happens too much. So that's why you don't draft them. But I agree. I think Najee Harris can be better than what he's produced so far in Pittsburgh. Thursday night football, Cowboys-Titans. Who you got? DAL for Dallas, TEN for the Titans. I'm going Dallas because Tennessee is down a bunch of starters, Producer Patrick. It does not look great for Tennessee.
I'll be curious to see how many guys play next week.
I think a lot of them will.
You think they'll be like, screw it, we're going for the division next week?
Simmons will be back. Derrick Henry will be back. Tennessee will be in much better shape next week. I think Christian Fulton will be back. But this game does not matter for Tennessee.
And they're just
if they win, it doesn't impact their playoff outcomes. It's still win next week and in against Jacksonville.
Yep.
There is, and I'll double check this here, there is a wild card path for Tennessee in which, like, the Jags lose out and Tennessee wins. It's very complicated. I'm going to just pull it up here as you guys get your votes in. They have to just shoot. I got to try this again. Hold on. It's not letting me do the thing. You have to, like, get the exact right scenario to actually make the wild card. It doesn't really make any sense. They have to, I think it's beat the Cowboys.
And then they would lose to Jacksonville.
Or maybe it's the yeah, I don't remember. Like, it's such a wild path that like it doesn't actually make any sense. It's like Tennessee beats the Cowboys, loses to Jacksonville. It's like less than 2%. It's very complicated, and it just doesn't. It's just not going to happen.
So
like
that's
it's just like all the losses everywhere else. I think it's like a 1% like path, and I might have even said it wrong to how they get there. So like it's not going to happen.
What game would you flex Week 18? Would it be this one or a potential Packers-Lions wild card?
I think that's why they haven't flexed it yet. I would be very intrigued by Packers-Lions.
Me too.
It's Rodgers.
Yeah.
That's the game that I might flex over. But I think they've already told them, like, hey, you have a very real chance. That is a guaranteed playoff berth.
Yeah.
That is a division round matchup no matter what.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if they waited a little bit to see, like, Rodgers plays. I think you'd rather have Rodgers on primetime than Jacksonville, Tennessee.
Love it, yeah.
But I think that Titans-Jags game has a very good chance. It's not going to be the Ravens-Bengals. Bengals play on Monday night. They flex Ravens-Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Vikings-Packers game got blocked, by the way. I think CBS was like,
yep.
no, we want this one. Mm-hmm. And you're not going to block in final week. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if that one ends up going there. So, look, it's a short week. -12 is a big spread.
Yeah.
But I think Dallas will end up winning. So
Would you lay the 12?
no, I would
You
not
wouldn't
lay
lay
the
the
12. 12 so much.
I know.
I mean, that's such a massive spread. Like, money line, sure, but you're not making much on the money line. But 12 points, that's just like, hey,
on the road, on a
like
short
on the
week.
road, short week. We are up, 27-10 in the fourth quarter. We've cruised to this win. Garbage time touchdown, and they back like that.
Typical
-12
backdoor.
screams backdoor
Oh, yeah.
cover, bad beat. That's
Oh,
what
yeah.
that's what it is when it's that large. So I could also see like a 33-10 win, and they just ease to it. But -12 is that's just a lot, especially on that short week time frame. We're gonna talk head coaching hot seat next. So get your votes in one last time. DAL for Dallas, TEN for Tennessee. You guys are watching NFL Daily. I am Tom Downey. NFL head coaching hot seat is heating up. I guess pun intended. Black Monday is not that far away, and we've already seen 3 different coaches get canned. We're going to break down the other coaches still in danger of getting fired, but these are the 3 gigs open right now. Matt Rule out in Carolina. He is now the head coach of the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Steve Wilkes, real chance to keep that job as the interim. Indianapolis has fired Frank Reich, and Jeff Saturday is, meeting expectations. They were pretty low as interim head coach of Indy. I don't think he should get that job. And most recently, Denver has fired Nathaniel Hackett. He is out. I think Reich and Hackett will find NFL jobs as OCs or whatever it is, head coach for Frank Reich. But those are the 3 jobs open. Of these 3, what is the best job right now? All of them, like most jobs that come open, because they got fired for a reason. Normally the roster isn't that good. There's some concerns with those jobs. What do you think is the best one right now? Type P for the Panthers, C for the Colts, or B for the Denver Broncos. We're going to tier our hot seats. The number 1 tier, in Fuego. And these coaches, or I should say coach, they're just in danger of being fired on Black Monday or maybe on Sunday night. Number 1, Cliff Kingsbury, the Cardinals head coach. There's a report that he might leave, and something tells me Cliff's going to end up at the Nick Saban School for Coaches Who Can't Coach. Going to want to do other stuff good too, because Kingsbury's Cardinals have collapsed in kind of shocking fashion, and the offense is the big reason why. I don't think Cliff and Kyler like each other that much, which is kind of a big deal. Your head coach and QB got to get along. Now, he just got paid. The GM just got paid and is taking a leave of absence. Kind of really going to see Steve Keim again. And they are 4-11. They've been terrible this year. I think Cliff is done in Arizona. Turns out you can't keep failing upward forever in your profession. How many more head coaches do you think, when it's all said and done, end up getting fired? Is it 0? Is it 1? 2? Could we get 3 more? Make those predictions in the pinned comments of today's video. So if the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and drop that number in the comment section. Hot seat tier number 2. You're a new coach, but Uh-oh. We already saw one get fired. They make it the entire year. So number 2 is Lovie Smith of the Houston Texans. Now, last year, the Texans won 4 games, and they chose to fire their head coach. Best case scenario is the Houston Texans end the year on a 3-game winning streak and achieve slightly better results. I think we were all in agreement. The Texans' job was not a very good one. But 4-13 wasn't good enough last year. If Houston does not find a way to upset Jacksonville and Indy to end the season, why would 3-13-1 be good? I'm sorry, but Lovie Smith higher. And I get that maybe nobody wants the Texans' job right now, and you just can't always keep firing your coaches year after year after year. But I don't think Lovie's a great coach. I really don't. I think time has passed him by. He was not good at Illinois either, by the way. Now, I don't know who they hire instead. They might do something weird. It's the Texans after all. But I think they should consider dumping Lovie Smith. It's a matter of when, not if, they go get somebody else. Might not be this year, but at some point they will. Number 3, Dennis Allen, the Saints head coach. Might be one and done there too, especially if New Orleans somehow, some way can bring back Sean Payton. I'm not convinced either of number 2 or number 3 get hired or fired, but they should feel their seats at least warmer than they should be after only 1 year. If you want to bet on the next head coach fired or anything around the NFL, do our sportsbook partner, BetUS. Chatsports.com/bet. Use promo code NFL Daily for a 125% deposit bonus. $100 down, extra $125 for free. It is that simple, my friends. All you have to do is sign up using promo code NFL Daily at chatsports.com/bet. They've got even props you can bet on as well, like the next head coach fired. Cliff Kingsbury, unsurprisingly, by the way, is the betting favorite at -350. Lovie Smith is +500. Josh McDaniels, who we will get to in a little bit, is also on this list. Todd Bowles. There's Dennis Allen. We just talked about him. Kevin Stefanski. We'll get to all those other names on this list here in a little bit, but I think Cliff is the correct betting favorite. Hot seat tier number 3. Things are a little bit toasty right now, but I would be surprised if they got fired. Number 4, Kevin Stefanski. I know there are Browns fans who don't like Stefanski, want him fired. At minimum, you're going to have a defensive coordinator change, but he's an offensive guy. Deshaun Watson has come in, and the Browns are averaging a singular offensive touchdown per game. That's not good. And that's an offensive coach not delivering the way they need to. Now, there's plenty of blame to go around, but that's got to be figured out. Now, I think he gets 1 more year, but that is getting worse every season. You can't have that in the NFL. So even if Stefanski sticks around, he will be among the hottest seats next year. We had the odds. Now I want to hear from you. Who will be the next NFL head coach fired? Is it Stefanski, Cliff Kingsbury, somebody else? Prediction time for me in the comment section. Number 5, still a little toasty, Ron Rivera. Look, Riverboat Ron, which is a misnomer nickname because he's actually not that aggressive, is who he is. You're going to win 7 to 8 games pretty much every year, right? That's what he's been doing last 5 years, and I think they would have won 7 or 8 games in 2019. That's what they do. Now, I think they break the 7-win streak here, but if they make the playoffs, of course he's not going to work. I think they miss it in the end, which is disappointing. I do think, by the way, all the uncertainty around that ownership will get Ron Rivera more time because they need something resembling a stabilizing influence. I don't think Rivera's an elite coach, but he is a stabilizer. He can keep things grounded enough to buy time for the inevitable regime change coming in terms of ownership. Special tier number 4 here. Playoff win needed. That's one coach and one coach. I almost put Brandon Staley here, but I think he's safe enough. But playoff win needed by McCarthy, right? if you can't beat what I assume will be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or maybe Carolina in the wild card round, you should get fired. And it's not because McCarthy sucks as a coach. I don't think he does. I think he's done a great job this year in particular. They have not had their offensive line together for a singular game this season. They lost their quarterback for 5 games and rallied and stayed strong when under Garrett they would have collapsed. They kind of did in 2020 as well. I think Mike McCarthy has done a very good job in Dallas. But in part because Jerry Jones doesn't have time anymore, and because of the expectations in Dallas, if they go one and done again, and they lay an egg again, and with Sean Payton just lingering out there and Dan Quinn in position to get a job as well, I have a tough time seeing the Cowboys at that point choosing to keep Mike McCarthy. And I would certainly be advocating to fire Mike, even though I think he is a quality head coach, but he's not the play caller. If they collapse again, they just weren't ready for the first playoff game, I think Mike's got to go. Now, if you want more NFL videos, make sure you guys are subscribed. Free videos every single day right here on the Chat Sports YouTube channel. Hit that sub button right now. All right, Tier 5, guys that should be safe, but hey, stunners happen every now and then. And these are 4 names to consider here. Number 7 is Josh McDaniels. Would I fire him? Yes. Talk about choking away games, and that I think at that point you have to blame the coaching for. That has been the Raiders' team. They should have been in the playoffs this year. The Raiders should be 9-6. You have blown multiple double-digit leads this year. Unacceptable. McDaniels has not done a great job, but I think the move to bench Derek Carr, and with the lack of pure cash that owner Mark Davis has, I think the Raiders are going to stick around with McDaniels for at least one more year. Then we'll see. What do you think? Should the Raiders dump Josh McDaniels? Y for yes, N for no. Sound off in the comment section. Number 8, Todd Bowles. Look, Tampa's been a real disappointment. I think they do miss Bruce Arians, by the way, especially on offense. The defense has been fine. The offense just isn't looking very good. They're going to be a playoff team, I think. Now, if they miss the playoffs, things might change. I think Bowles gets at least one more year, but year 1 for Todd Bowles, I think we can all call it what it is, a disappointment. Now, number 9, I think Mike Vrabel is a top 10 NFL head coach. And if he were to get fired, I think it'd be a mistake by Tennessee, and I think there'd be a lot of interest at the collegiate ranks and the NFL ranks in adding Mike Vrabel. But they are on the verge of a historic collapse that really, and I mean really, should at least make you go, okay, we at least have the conversation. Tennessee, week 11, fresh off a 27-17 win over the Green Bay Packers, were 7-3, all but assured of locking up a playoff spot. At one point this year, folks, Tennessee had a 98% chance. They lose to the Bengals, Eagles, Jags, Chargers, and now Houston. They're probably going to sit their starters against the Cowboys. If they don't beat Jacksonville, folks, they will have lost 7 straight games to miss the playoffs. I think Vrabel's a great coach. I think that roster has issues, injuries included. I think there'll be a lot of interest in him. If they collapse, I think ownership at least talks about it, even though I would not fire him. Who do you think, sitting active, i.e. non-interim head coaches only, who do you think is the worst one in the NFL? Let me hear it. Drop a name in the comment section. Number 10, Arthur Smith. The Falcons this was a better year than they were supposed to be. They're kind of retooling. I'd be surprised if he got fired, but they also kind of collapsed down the stretch. Entering year 3, might be a bit more on the hot seat. I don't think he gets fired, but that Arthur Blank is a very impatient person sometimes. I could see him getting a bit more aggressive there. All right, next question for you, the audience. What's your favorite candy? What's your go-to candy to snack on, whether it's sweet, savory, whatever? Let me know. Producer Patrick, what's your go-to candy?
I've always been Reese's in any
Good choice.
Any form or fashion, anything peanut butter chocolate, I'll always lean there. What about you?
Reese's is always a good one there. I'm a big fan of the Nerds gummy clusters.
Oh, those things are amazing.
Dude, they are so dangerous.
That is the most slept-on candy out there. I know exactly what you're talking about.
They are not slept on here in the Chat Sports office, but
those are great.
It is absolutely delicious. Skittles, also a good choice. I'm a big fan of anything gummy bears.
Yeah.
Like anything gummy related. Like I haven't made them yet. I don't know. I'll make them maybe for the playoff game. We'll figure it out. I call them rummy bears.
Oh, really?
I take a bottle of white rum or vodka, whatever you want to use. But rummy bears is a better pun. Pour them all. Pour it in. Soak them up.
Those would be amazing.
Get hammered eating gummy bears. It's delicious. Maybe for the playoffs I'll do them this year. Who knows?
Best of both worlds.
Yeah. I see M&Ms, peanut butter M&Ms, Mr. Goodbar, Three Musketeers, Warheads. I got to be in the right mood for a Warhead. Otherwise, it's just not my go-to. Someone said sneakers. I think you mean Snickers. I think that's just a weird typo. I think you mean the lightsabers candy. They call them lightsabers, right? Not lightsabers. I know what you're talking about.
Lifesavers,
Well,
right?
yeah, it's lifesavers for candy, right? Hold on. See, now I'm having like a weird Bearstein Bears moment.
Oh,
here.
yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. I need to double check there. Yeah, it's the Lifesavers, not the lightsabers. Okay. Payday, Warheads. A lot of interesting choices today. So keep them coming. Get your favorite candy in there. An XD Gamer 22. He's our Jags fan here. I am very happy for you. Jags should beat Tennessee. Just don't jag it up too much there.
I know. Could you imagine though?
I mean,
if somehow
Tennessee would have to lose 7 straight games, or at least 6 of their last 7 to miss it.
That would be incredible.
They're due for a win, but they also couldn't beat Houston. So I don't know. We'll find out what happens on Sunday, and that's Week 18 Sunday, of course. I mean. You guys are watching NFL Daily. I am Tom Downey. The NFL regular season is almost over, so we are doing a fresh NFL mock draft, our final one before the actual NFL draft order for the non-playoff teams is finalized. You know the drill. We'll go 1 to 31, plus some round 2 picks for teams without a first-rounder. The order is based on the current order entering Thursday Night Football, because that would be weird just to change 2 teams. So no yelling at me for the order, please, and thank you. Number 1, the Houston Texans. I'm going with Bryce Young. There are size concerns, I know. Davis Mills is simply not it. Get your quarterback in place. Figure out the rest of it. What you don't want to have happen is you accidentally lose a couple games or win some games next year, and you miss out, or there's injuries or the QBs regress. If you think Bryce Young's your guy, take him at number 1, even though I think many people will have Will Anderson as the number 1 prospect, or at least he'll be a consensus top 2. We'll get to the other guy in a minute here. Anderson to the Bears. They might trade it. Regardless of which defensive impact piece you take, I think Will Anderson is going to be a very good football player in the NFL. Edge rusher, or you could also go Jalen Carter out of Georgia. We will see him in the college football playoff semifinals at minimum here. Carter to Seattle, impact 3 technique. His numbers are not elite, but that's because that's just the Georgia defense. We saw it last year and this year. Anderson, Carter are both going to be studs, but it's funny how things change, because Seattle wasn't going to go quarterback like a month ago because Geno Smith was playing great. He's not playing as well now. And if you're Seattle, you might not be bad enough to land a quarterback next year. If you love a Stroud or a Levis or a Richardson, maybe you take one in the first round. So specifically when it comes to the Seahawks, should they draft a quarterback in round 1? Why for yes and for no? Sound off for me in the comments section. Number 4, Arizona. I think the Bears could trade down. Arizona should trade down too. They've plummeted. Number 4, maybe O-line. How about an edge? J.J. Watt's retiring, and you never really replaced Hassan Reddick the way you should have. I'll give them an impact passer from Clemson, Miles Murphy at number 4. Let's talk quarterbacks now. Ooh, these are dicey. C.J. Stroud at number 5 to Indy. I just get the feeling that Indy and Jim Irsay's never dealt with quarterback uncertainty. It was Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck, and now he's dealing with like the middle-class quarterback tier, and that's not a fun place to be because you're not bad enough, you're not good enough. If Indy continues to bottom out, I could see him going QB. I have concerns about Stroud. I think in the right offense, he could have a lot of success, though, and Indy is desperate to go get a new quarterback. Another one coming up here, but who do you think is the best prospect in the 2023 NFL Draft? Let me know in the comments section right now at the pinned comment. The best, not your favorite. Who do you think is the number 1 overall player? If the ad break comes on YouTube, head down there and drop that prospect name. I don't love this, full disclosure. I'm going to go with Will Levis. I think he's a great fit in what Arthur Smith wants to do on offense with his mobility. I don't see a consistent quarterback as a passer, and that terrifies me. I get the upside. I do. But this is going to be one of those, well, he's going round 1, but we're not really sure why. Just the NFL loves him, and sometimes they're right. Sometimes they're wrong. Maybe Desmond Ridder steps up the final 2 games and makes me change my pick here, but I've been kind of underwhelmed so far by Ridder, unfortunately. Levis is a project, but man, there's upside there. All right, Brian Brzee out of Clemson. The Lions, imagine pairing him and my guy Aleem McNeil with Aiden Hutchinson. Oh, man, that's a dynamic front. Lions need defensive help there. The top 3 quarterbacks are gone, which makes their decision about their own quarterback spot a little bit easier. Also now have uncertainty with the Raiders at number 8. Derek Carr probably won't be back. Peter Skoronski, offensive tackle, might play him at guard or right tackle. Arm length is a concern there. Protect whoever your quarterback is next year in Vegas. By the way, Carolina, funny, we've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, could all, or I should say 9, could all hypothetically go quarterback. I'll go Keely Ringo here for Carolina. I'm very uncertain about what the quarterback is going to look like draft-wise. I don't know what's going to happen, so it's worth keeping an eye out for at Carolina. Another corner, I don't love C.J. Henderson. I think he's just kind of meh. Add Ringo and J.C. Horn, though. You got some upside there, baby. Today's NFL Daily is brought to you by Fetch. It's super easy to use, and a free app lets you earn rewards on literally anything that you buy. Any physical receipt or e-receipt will earn points for your purchases. The process takes only seconds, as you can see right here. Don't worry about where the receipt is from or what's on it. Let me show you how simple it is with this video. Open the Fetch app, press the orange camera button, and snap a photo of your receipt. Hit submit, and you'll see the confetti pop showing you've earned more reward points. It's a simple process. You can also, by the way, use the e-receipt function to get points for your Amazon purchases or any online shopping by syncing your email account. And then redeem those points, gift cards for gift cards at Amazon, Starbucks, any of the hundreds of retailers and restaurants that are available. Fetch is on the iPhone and Android stores. Use our link, chatsports.com. So Fetch should go right to your respective store. Enter promo code CHAT and sign up for 5,000 bonus points when you scan your first receipt. That is the equivalent of a free $5 gift card to get started. It's a free app, but the 5,000 bonus points are only available for a limited time. Chatsports.com/Fetch. Promo code CHAT in the comment section and the description of today's video. Number 10, Bijan Robinson out of Texas. And I think just ignoring the position, you can say Bijan is a top 5, top 10 player in this class. He has everything you really want there at the running back position. But it's also a top 10 pick on a running back. Now, Philadelphia's in a unique spot where, in theory, they would be picking 31 in this mock, so like you won the Super Bowl, so you could probably spend a luxury pick there if you wanted to. Is he worth a top 10 pick? Sound off for me. I'm very curious what you guys have to say. D for draft or P for pass? Paris Johnson next up here. You may or may not be keeping Laramie Tunsil. We'll see, but if you do, you still probably want some O-line help there. If you draft quarterback round 1, I'm a big fan of adding more help. Protection help includes that. Johnson has been great at left tackle for OSU this year. Tyree Wilson out of Texas Tech. Not often we see a Texas Tech player go in round 1, but Seattle did it last time with Jordan Brooks, actually. And Wilson would be a nice piece in their defensive edge hybrid. It's kind of type of guy they've liked in the past. Some position flex there as he could play some inside, play some outside. I think they might get some visions of Michael Bennett dancing in their heads at edge. I think he's a great fit in Seattle. Number 13, Tennessee. Oh, the mighty have fallen. Jordan Addison. Leading up to last year, we were like, you need another receiver to pair with A.J. Brown. And they traded away A.J. Brown and drafted Treylon Burks. I doubt Robert Woods is back next year. Go get another receiver. Addison is a very different player than Burks. I think makes it a nice compliment. Michael Mayer. Now, the Patriots have 2 tight ends, I know. I could see both Jonnu Smith and or Hunter Henry getting released with their contract situations or even being traded. Wouldn't it be classic Patriots to dump those guys and go spend a first-round pick? Because that's the inverse of what they did the first time. They took 2 guys in the 3rd round a couple years ago. They were both bad, and then signed 2 guys. Now we'll flip it around again. Michael Mayer is not an elite athlete. He could easily fall out of the top 20. I would not be surprised at that because of positional value and athleticism. He's going to be a very good pro, though. Green Bay, Quentin Johnston fits their mold if he runs fast enough. The big outside frame receiver. I would actually love Addison in Green Bay as well. I wouldn't mind if you just want to flip those 2 spots, Addison and Johnston. That's fine with me too. But whoever the quarterback is, hey, let's not have to lean so heavily on Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs and get them another, or Dobbs, I should say, is how he wants it to be pronounced. Get them another real playmaker at receiver. Maybe you can get some creative slot looks for Christian Watson even. For more NFL mock drafts, news, rumors, playoff updates, we've got you guys covered. Hit that subscribe button right now. YouTube.com/@chatsports. Free videos when you guys are subscribed. Number 16, I'm breaking my own just mock Joey Porter Jr. to the Steelers rule, but Christian Gonzalez is awesome. Corner's a big need for Pittsburgh. I love what Gonzalez can do for Oregon. I think it's a good pick there. Number 17, Broderick Jones out of Georgia. I've done this pick a lot. It just makes sense to me. They'll figure out quarterback else beyond the draft, I promise you, but Jones can play some right, can play some left. I'm very worried about Mekhi Becton. And teams always need O-line help. I love this haul for the Lions, by the way. Brian Brzee and Joey Porter Jr. 2 starters, I think, right away at key positions for the Lions there. DT and corner, I love it. Cam Smith to the Jags at number 19 now. He's going to be a bit more, I think, of a divisive prospect than most, just from the buzz I've seen so far. Beyond Tyson Campbell, some uncertainty, especially at the outside corner spot. I think it's a decent fit. One of my guys, Jared Verse, the former Albany prospect, making the portal work for him there. Florida State to Tampa Bay. I like that fit, hopefully a bit better than Jameis Winston. More pass rush help, though, could certainly be a need for Tampa. Trying to fully get things going alongside, Joe Tryon. It's a bit of a luxury pick, but I think Todd Bowles would love to add another impact edge and really get things going there. Number 21, Osiris Torrance out of Florida. The Commanders like to run the football. They haven't been very effective there. Getting them a good run-mauling guard would be a nice step. This is the controversial one. Anthony Richardson is an easy, and I've used this line before, and I will do it again. He's an easy valuation. He's an easy evaluation. You see the upside, the cannon for an arm, the athletic ability, the flashes. The downside, the scatter shot accuracies, the decision-making both as a read option keeper and as a quarterback. Massive boom, massive bust prospect. Where on earth do you draft that kid? Now, if I were Richardson, where would I want to go? How about the head coach that helped maximize Josh Allen? Now, Allen deserves a lot of the individual credit there, but I've seen Daniel Jones play better in New York there. And what if he did this? Because he needs time. Draft him in round 1, bring back Daniel Jones or somebody as a bridge quarterback for the short term, and give Richardson time. He has to go to the right spot. I do think Richardson and New York could be the right spot. Now, the number one thing for any QB is going to be the couple inches of headspace between the ears. How do you handle that aspect? The interview process, the whiteboard stuff, that will be critical. If we see lack of buzz around Richardson kind of coming out of the Senior Bowl, the Combine, etc., didn't do well there. Happened to Carson Strong, by the way. People don't say that because it's mean to say that they don't think the processing is there. It doesn't come off very well, so it just kind of fade away a little bit. So keep an eye on Richardson because I think that's the big concern right now. How many QBs in the end do you think are going to be drafted in round 1? Let me know in the comment section. The Chargers, how about Trenton Simpson can give you some fun athletic ability at linebacker. Maybe what Kenneth Murray was supposed to be type of prospect. Jackson Smith-Njigba to the Ravens here, number 24 out of Ohio State. I would like to get some more playmaking. So for Lamar Jackson, give me Jackson Smith-Njigba at 24. Lucas Van Ness to Iowa. You know, I could see Draymond Jones leaving in free agency, and Van Ness can play some edge and defensive line, which I like that fit for Denver a lot more than only a pure edge with some other guys like Nolan Smith on the board. Devin Witherspoon, going to be an interesting prospect. His production for Illinois this year, you can hit me up on Twitter. I'll send you the info. Elite production. Did not get beat. Lots of plays on the football, but he's skinny, and I'm not sure he's going to be that fast. That will raise some red flags, but production-wise, he played out of his mind this year. Fun fit for the Bengals, Darnell Washington. My player comp will be like an NBA power forward. Allegedly is weighing like 275 right now at 6'7". He does not look it. There is little to no body fat on that man. I mean, he looks like the tight end version of DK Metcalf sometimes, with just being absolutely shredded. Great run blocker with the size of like a lineman. That makes sense, right? Upside in the passing game because Brock Bowers has overshadowed him, understandably so. In Cincinnati, Joe Burrow for some empty formations to help chip and then release out. Oh, I love that fit. I also love this fit, and producer Patrick hated it because it's not fair, he said. Jalen Hyatt. Hey, how about you get some more speed for Mahomes? I think more and more, at the risk of becoming Al Davis, speed matters. You got to have speed at wide receiver, or you're just not going to separate enough there. And Hyatt, the slot fade, Mahomes to Hyatt, let's ride, baby. It's what Mecole Hardman should have been. Clark Phillips, who I'm a big fan of. He might be a nickel corner. He reminds me of Raj McCree, who I love. Has been a starter for Tennessee this year. To Minnesota, I love that fit. Brian Branch at safety kind of fell down this mock, but I liked what I've seen from him, and with some safeties free agent for the Bills. Just makes sense. Nolan Smith, Eagles, number 31. You go running back early. Now you take a guy who might miss some time, but has great upside as some of your edges begin to age. I love the fit for Nolan Smith. Unlike most people, I don't stop in round 1 because Rams, Saints, Browns, Dolphins, Niners fans, I care about you too. Andre Carter, edge rusher from Army. Now, it looks like the government will change the rules to allow Carter to go pro. Thank goodness. We're doing right by him there. Rams can use some more pass rush help. I like that fit. Javon Dexter out of Florida. Upside, boom or bust player. Elite 3-tech potential. Has yet to put it all together. He goes to the Saints. They have a need there. Browns must find a run stopper. Please, I beg of you. Mozzie Smith, or as I like to call him, Maze Smith, because that just is better for Michigan as far as I'm concerned. I know that's how I pronounce it, but it's funny. I got him going from Michigan to the Browns. The Miami Dolphins are next up here. John Michael Schmitz, a center. Hey, you can go put Connor Williams at guard, where I would argue he tends to belong a little bit more. And Zach Zinter, the guard from Michigan, another good Michigan offensive lineman. Oli Otuwam, I think I pronounced that wrong. Sorry, I don't have it in front of me. He'll probably be a top 75 pick. Didn't go with any of these teams, so I just want to make a note of that. But Zach Zinter could help be a nice piece for you because I want to keep adding to the offensive line if I'm San Francisco. Some of those guys are getting a little bit older. Who did I leave off of this 2023 NFL mock draft? Let me know in the comment section right now. Drop that player name for me in the comment section. I'll also give you some names because I'm cool like that. Siaka Ika, DT from Baylor. I could easily see him being a potential first-round pick. Felix Uzoma out of Kansas State has had a great year. I will mention the name Zach Harrison again for everybody here. Combine, he is going to get a little bit more buzz than what he's been getting as of late. He is going to blow it up because he's going to be a great athlete, but do not count it twice. He's really in there because of his athletic ability. Drew Sanders could easily be a first-round pick, just not that many teams need a linebacker for me right now. Antonio Johnson, same thing, just lack of safety needs there. Offensively, people like Tanner McKee. I don't get it. Jahmyr Gibbs is a kind of a Kamara-type back in terms of being a third-down guy. Zay Flowers has some fans. Cedric Tillman, too. And DeJuan Jones could sneak in back in a round one because teams always end up needing offensive line help. So grade the mock draft for me. A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know in the comments section. Give some shout-outs here. Josh Downs from Brokaw, good name in there, too. I could easily swap out Tillman for him. Like, that's a good name. Kind of that late round 1, early round 2 name. My opinion says Bo Nix is the gem of the draft. He's going back to Oregon. He would have been drafted, though. He had a much better year for the Ducks than he ever had at Auburn, so he's just going to go back there. Someone asked about Malachi Moore. He kind of lost his job down the stretch. He wasn't playing that much anymore. Handful of snaps against LSU, Ole Miss, and Auburn. So I think he's going back to school. Was vested as a freshman, but not right now. If anything, I'd say maybe Eli Ricks goes pro, but we'll see. He was also kind of a not full-time starter on defense, and he kind of played a lot against Auburn, but he didn't play that much, so I don't know. That's fine. I see B's from Brokaw, Clayton Lockhart, Christopher C. People mad about certain picks. Hey, you just gotta deal with it. It is December. There are lots of needs for teams, and those will all be sorted out there later on. A lot of B's in there. I appreciate that. Make sure you guys are subscribed, youtube.com/@chatsports. More mock drafts, more updates. We got you guys covered there. Hit that subscribe button for free. Free videos every single day. That is it for today's live show. We'll see you guys throughout the week. Make sure you're tuned in Sunday. We will have some playoff picture updates as Week 17 just around the corner.